Morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
So we are 11, 12 of us. So we'll start with the new unit in investment management. And this is a very important unit, a very, very exhaustive unit. Okay. Uh, and whatever number of slides that you can see here, I think here we have somewhere around 72 slides. No, yeah. We have around 91 slides. This 91 slides that we are talking about, you know, is just about only this part, fundamental and technical analysis. And remember, we have not covered everything in this. There's still something, other things that we have to cover, which we will cover anyways when we are doing the assignment part of it. Okay. So you understand the gravity of this particular unit, and that's the reason I am giving more time for this particular unit. Clear? Now, uh, before I start this particular unit, I just need one clarification from you. Have you tried on your own the three-stage model of equity valuation? Okay, I had told you yesterday that you please try it out, the three-stage model of equity valuation after explaining you the step number 2. Have you tried it? Because if you have not tried it, then understanding this part would be a little bit difficult. Have you tried that part on your own? I need some response. Rashmi, Pradeep, Shaila, Vishakha. Have you tried this on your own? Gautami?
No, sir. Actually, I was not there last class.
Gautami, you are remaining off and on absent for a long time now.
So no, the only the afternoon classes, sir. I keep the phone on, but to sir, it gets so much delayed that later, sir, I have to keep on checking always the phone, sir. So
Okay.
by that only 2-3 times I missed my class. But
Okay.
morning classes I attend, sir. Almost all the classes I've attended.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So, what I would request all of you would be, you please study that three-stage model once again. Go through it. If you're not able to get it, then I'll discuss it. Okay. Otherwise, we'll start with the next one. What do you want me to do? You want me to discuss the three-stage model once again, or should we start with the new module?
So please discuss it again.
What happened?
So discuss the three-stage model again, sir.
So you want me to discuss the three-stage model? Fine, I'll do that. Just give me a minute. Can you see the screen
Yes, sir.
of the three-stage model? Okay, I'll explain to you quickly so that you will be able to understand it. And we'll discuss. I think the theory part is done with you. You have understood the theory part? Have you understood the theory part of it?
So just brush it up a little.
Okay. So the three-phase model or the three-stage model is a model which is used in equity valuation for that particular company which has experienced three phases as far as growth is concerned. Now, when I say growth does not mean upward movement only. Growth can be downward movement only. A negative growth means a decline in your business, right? So don't be under the impression that growth means only upwards. No, growth can be downwards also. You know, when you're declining, it is also called as a negative growth, right? So whenever companies experience this type of a phase, we call it, we value those companies or we value that particular share of that particular company based on the three-stage model or the three-phase model. Now, what happens in this particular model is generally it has a time span of around 7 to 8 years. Okay, it has a considerable period of time, that is 7 to 8 years of time. You can observe these three patterns. And what are those patterns? The first pattern is a company is growing or a company is doing business at a constant rate. That means every year the company is having the same growth. Okay, it's going at a very same rate. It's very, very stable, right? This is the first stage. Suddenly, something goes wrong with the company. It might be an internal policy of the company. It could be some external environment. It could be something related to the management of the company, the people who are running the day-to-day affairs of the company. Something has gone wrong with the company, and as a result, the company, instead of growing flat or going at a constant rate, it starts declining. It starts declining gradually. Okay, the if you observe this particular graph, the decline is not straight. It is not a 90-degree straight line that the company has fallen down. Gradually the company has got into a negative growth. Okay, so this second phase that we call, or this particular transition from a higher level to a lower level, it is not happening overnight. It takes a considerable period of time, somewhere around 3 to 4 years. If you observe in this, there is a step by step decrease in the growth of the company. We call this particular this we call this particular phase as a phase of linear decline in growth. Please understand, when I say linear, it has to be stepwise. It cannot be all of a sudden. It has to be a stepwise decline in the growth of the company. All of a sudden the company grows, uh, goes into a negative growth for a certain number of years. Then the management of the company feels that something is terribly wrong with the company. We need to stabilize the company. So they take some drastic steps, they take some drastic measures, and as a result, what happens? The company, instead of going down further, tends to stabilize at that particular point. That is where the third phase starts, and from that point onwards, the company has again a constant growth. Are you able to understand? So this is what happens as far as growth of the company is concerned. Clear? So this particular phenomena is experienced by almost every company in the world. It has been experienced by every company, every share, every individual also goes through this particular pattern. Only thing is you are not able to figure it out, right? So how do we value such shares, or how do we value such companies? So for that reason, we have the three-stage model formula. Now, in the three-stage model formula, we have one phase wherein the growth is going to be up to this point. We call it as a growth of, we call it as denote this growth by GA. Okay, just a minute. We denote this growth by GA. Okay, so when does the growth of GA come into existence, or when does this growth come stops? This growth of GA stops at this point. Okay, can you see this part? It stops at this point. From this point onwards, the company starts declining gradually, and this phase is going to end here. So this phase is called the growth in of B. So up to this point, okay, I'll just remove it once again. Up to this point, the company is experiencing a negative growth, and we call this growth as GB, the growth experienced in part B or phase B. Then onwards, when the company starts stabilizing, when you have again a constant growth, that is the time when you have a normal growth again. Okay, then you have the normal growth again. Clear? These three phases is what we need to understand, and all this comes at a time. This phase gets over at time TA. Next phase starts from time this turn to this time, that is the second phase, and next phase starts from this point to the last point. So we experience three time zones. One, we experience three growths, that is GA, GB, and GN, that is the normal growth. Then we have the three timelines, that is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So depending on all these parameters, we get a formula for a three-stage model. So this is a formula for the three-stage model. Now please understand, as I said, you have experienced growth of GA till time t. So which is your this part. Okay, it is your this part. So you are experiencing a growth here. You are experiencing a growth of GA, and this is available till time t. After that, the growth stops. Then there is a linear decline. Then there is a linear decline. There is a slow step-by-step decline. And this happens during stage B. So this is the area of stage B. This is the area of stage B, and this is the time for stage B. This is the time for stage B. So that is the reason we have the formula for only B. Then we have the phase which is after B. That is the reason it is said B plus. So here you can see normal growth rate. So this normal growth rate is going to start from this point onwards. Clear? So we are clearly able to distinguish phase 1. Okay, we are able to distinguish phase 2, and also we are able to distinguish phase 3. So depending on this, we have to solve this particular problem. Clear? So this is the theory part as far as equity valuation of a three-stage model is concerned. Now we go further to understand this particular problem. Okay. Now the problem is, there is a company. Okay. For the first 4 years, this company XYZ Limited is assumed to grow at 10%. Okay. For the first 4 years means naturally it has to be GA, the growth in the initial phase. This is the horizontal line that you can experience. Okay. So that rate is GA. After 4 years, the growth in the dividend is assumed to decline. Please understand the word. Linearly. Linearly means step by step. Okay. The growth is assumed to decline linearly to 6%. Okay. So look at the time frame. From 4 years, okay, from 4 years onwards, the growth is going to be on a decline phase. For how many years? For how many years? Look at this part. It says after 7 years, the firm is going to grow at a 6% constant. That means the total time that we have is 7 years till phase B. Phase A is going to get over in 4 years. Phase B is going to last for 3 years, because out of 7 years, if 4 years are consumed by growth phase 1, the time that we have for phase 2 is only 3 years. Because it is clearly said after 7 years, the firm is going to grow at a 6% rate constantly or infinitely. That means we totally have 7 years, and out of these 7 years, 4 years are consumed by phase 1. Naturally, 7 minus 4, that is 3. 3 years have to be consumed by phase 2. Clear? Accordingly, we have to solve this particular problem. Let us go to the main part. So here it is said next year's dividend is 2 rupees. That means 2 rupees. When are you going to receive this 2 rupees as dividend? You are going to receive this dividend of 2 rupees next year, right? And you are calculating the value of the share today. So when you are calculating the value of the share today, and when you are including dividend as one of the variables in your formula, naturally you have to discount that value of 2 rupees. In other words, you need to find out the present value of 2 rupees as of today with the required rate of return that is given to you as 14%. So using this data, we have to compute the first phase, the second phase, and the third phase. So let us start computing the first phase itself. By the way, I'll just help you note down the notations. Next year's dividend is 2 rupees, which is given to us. Our required rate of return is 14%. That is also given to us. GA, which is 10%. If I convert this 10% into decimals, I get 0.1. So my growth in the first phase is going to be 10%, which is nothing but 0.1. Now pay attention. DB, that is my decline, my growth in my dividend is going to decline linearly from 10% to 6% over 3 years. That means what? This is what I experienced. 4th year is complete. So this is for 5th year. This is for the 6th year. This is for the 7th year. Okay. 7th year is going to get complete here. From 8th year onwards, it is, I'm going to have a very constant growth. That is what is mentioned in the problem. If I just look at it, after 7 years, the firm is going to grow at 6% constantly. So if you count, 4 years are going to get over with 10%. This is your 5th year. I repeat again. This is your 5th year, 6th year, 6th year, 7th year. Okay. 8th year onwards, it is going to have a constant growth. Yes, Rashmi?
So how did he assume that it is going to decline by 1% per year, sir? Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I asked, how did we come to an assumption that it will decrease by 1% every year, sir?
Look at the formula.
The rate of return.
Look at the formula here. dt minus 1.
Yes, sir.
So 1% every year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my normal growth rate after 7 years will be 6%, which is given to me in the problem. Total time that I have till phase B is going to get over is 7 years, or we can say beginning of the 3rd phase. So totally I have 7 years time frame. So in this 7 years time frame, I need to calculate the value of my company or the price of my share, right? Fine. So I start with step number 1. I copy my first formula, only this part. I write that formula once again here. And then I start solving it. Now please understand this. Here you might be wondering, why have I not written 1 plus GA raised to T? Okay, why have I not written 1 plus GA raised to T? The reason is, this dividend of 2 rupees, when are you going to receive this? You're going to receive in the next year, because that is what is told to you in the problem, right? That is what is told to you in the problem, that next year's dividend is going to be 2 rupees. So if 2 rupees is going to be received in the next year, what is the present value of that 2 rupees is what I need to find out, because I am calculating the price of my share as of today. So I need to know what is the price of 2 rupees as of today. That's the reason I have to find the present value of the dividend, that is 2 rupees. And how do I find out the present value? I take T as 1. So here my T becomes 1. This T that is there, it becomes 1. R is my 14%, which is nothing but my required rate of return, which is given to me in the problem, that is R. I substitute the values. So this is for the first year. And then I am going to have this particular part. Sorry, just a minute. Then I'm going to have this part. So next year I will write 2 as it is, and my dividend is going to grow at 10%. So 1 plus 0.1. From where did I get this 0.1? It is here. I got this value from 0.1 from GA. Okay. Here I don't raise to here it is raised to 1. So even if you don't write anything, that's still fine. Okay. This is my 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year. Yeah. So what I want you to do is, I want you to solve this part, please, quickly, so that we can go to the next part quickly. You do it on your own first. Only then things will be clear for you. Please calculate it. Are you solving it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please do it.
Sir, got it.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you have got this. What is this? This is the present value of dividends that you experienced in the first phase. This is the present value of dividends that you experienced in the first phase. Fine. Now the first phase is over. Sorry. The first phase is over now. Just give me a minute. It says so the first phase is over now, and we are entering into the second phase. Now I write down the formula for the second phase. When you write down the formula for the second phase, what does it say? It says my time will start when the second phase is going to start. The second phase is going to start at time equal to after completion of first stage, that is A. So A plus 1, this is what it says, right? So A plus 1, my stage B is going to start. Okay, now this is a notation of the formula. Now let us see how do we write down this particular formula. Okay, fine. So now I come to the, remember 4 years are over. Look at this, your 4 years are over here. Yeah. Now we come to the fifth year. So when we come to the fifth year, my growth is going to decline. Okay, my growth is going to decline linearly. Okay, and that is the reason from 10% my growth is going to become now 9%. So this calculation is there only for the fifth year. This calculation is there only for the fifth year. Clear? So I was growing at 10% at the end of 4 years. Remember this? The same value has to come here. The same value has to come here. Okay, so this is the formula, this is the concept that we have to employ when we are calculating the growth in the fifth year. So this is my fifth year. Look at this. Look at the denominator. It says fifth year. Okay. Next, this is the concept that I have to employ in the sixth year. Look at the denominator. It's 6th year. And this is the formula that I'm going to employ at the phase of 7th year. So this is the formula for the 7th year. And remember, we have to do the summation of all this. Why? Because in the problem, it is clearly told to us, it is a summation of all the dividends in phase B. So this is a summation of all the dividends of phase B. Please solve this now.
Sir, can you explain as to what are the values here, sir? Such as for value for D, T minus 1, for 1 plus GB, sir.
Now what
It's a
does it
little
say?
confusing here.
What? When did your fourth stage get over? When did your first stage get over? In how many years did your first stage get over?
So 4 years.
4 years. So what does the formula say? Dividend, whatever is your dividend is 2. T minus 1. So what's your T? 4 years. 4 minus 1. What is the formula for the 4 minus 1? This is the part. 4 minus 1 is 3. So take the dividend that you have at the end of 4th year. Whatever is the dividend, that value you have to take it. Okay, your denominator says 4, but your numerator says 3. You are getting confused here, Rashmi, I think. The reason is, if you count this is your first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Okay, Why have you taken 3 here and why not 4 is because you found out the present value for next year's dividend. You are going to receive the dividend from next year, but you found out the present value of that dividend as of today only. That is the reason from today you calculate 4 years. From
Yes,
today
sir.
you calculate 4 years and then you will arrive at this particular numerator. So the same numerator I am going to calculate. What is this? This is this part.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the problem, clearly again, as I said, the decline is going to be linearly, and that is the reason my decline rates I have mentioned here from 10% to 6%. How am I going to decline? I am going to decline step by 1% every year because I have to reach 6%, right? In a period of 3 years, I have to reach 6%. So I decline it by one. This is my growth in the fifth year. This is my growth in the sixth year, seventh year. Okay. And after seventh year, I am going to grow constantly at 6%. There is no change here. That is what I am going to write here. So this is my growth in the fifth year only. I write it. This is my growth in the sixth year. And this is going to be my growth in the seventh year. Remember, I have not written 1.06. Why? Because 1.06 will start after 7 years. Till 7 years, this is going to be my growth. Getting it, Rashmi?
Yes, sir. So I have one more doubt here.
Yeah.
So for this fourth year, at the end of fourth year, it will be 1.09. Then at the end of second year, sorry, sir, fifth year, it will be 1.08, right, sir? Then why did we take it as 1.09 into 1.08?
You're talking about this part?
No, sir, the second part.
Yeah, tell me, what is your doubt now?
So why did we take here as 1.09 into 1.08, sir?
Okay. Why did you take 1.08 into 09? See, if you look at this graph, I'll just give you some, this is a little bit of advanced, but still I'll explain to you. If you look at this phase, what is this? This is a slope of a line, right? A slope of a graph.
Yes, sir.
So how do you calculate slope? Y is equal to mx plus c, regression analysis, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you take a regression analysis, you take it from the start. You don't take it from in between. You always take it from the start. To know the growth, you always take it from the start. And that's the reason we have taken all these values from the start itself. We know we are calculating for the sixth year. I'm calculating the present value of dividend in the sixth year. I know that. But since I'm in a decline phase, I'm going through a phase wherein there is going to be a slope in my graph, or there is going to be a slope in my line. Naturally, I have to take it from the year in which the transition has started. The same concept is getting followed here also. So I experience first 0.09, 9% of growth, then I experience 8% of growth, and then I will experience 7% of growth. So it is something like this, Rashmi. I start here, I come to this point, okay, I calculate what is my dividend. Then I come to this particular point. But to arrive at this particular point, I should know my earlier point, right? I should know what is my earlier point. Next, to arrive at this particular point, I should know my earlier point, which is here. That's the reason those values get repeated. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good that you asked me. Somebody else also would have asked, would have had this doubt, but nobody raised the doubt. In fact, this is a much higher level of mathematics. Why these values have to be repeated? It's a cumulative score, basically. Please solve this.
So another file you have given us a PDF. In that bond valuation problems are there.
Okay.
So in that I have done.
Okay. I'll just finish up this and then we'll take up that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please solve it. I have less than 4 minutes.
Yes, sir, doing it. Sir, got the answer.
Got it? What is it? 4.27?
Yes, sir, 4.2747.
Now we'll go to the last stage, that is stage number 3. I will note down the formula as it is. This is the formula for stage 3. So I'll note down the formula as it is. Okay. Now, when is stage B going to start? When is stage B, or when is the third phase going to start? The third phase is going to start only when the 4 years are completed of growth A or first phase. The next 3 years of phase B are completed, and only then the third phase is going to start. So can you see this numerator here? It is saying, the formula says dividend at the point where stage B completes. Dividend at a stage wherein second phase completes or stage B completes. When is that going to stage complete? It's going to complete when this part is done. This is nothing but your stage A. Next, this is your stage B. So here my stage B is going to complete, and then it says 1 plus G. So this entire part is dB. I repeat again, the numerator that I have highlighted in the box is entire part is dB. Okay, and then we have the growth in the third phase, which is going to be a constant growth rate, and that constant growth rate is at 6%. So that is what is mentioned here. So 1 plus G is nothing but your 1.6. Before this, everything is dB value. That's the only clarification that I have to make. The rest of the things as it is, I have to substitute. My R is 14%, I write 0.14. Here my normal growth is going to be 6%, so I write 0.06, and 1 plus R raised to B. B is value of B, or B is going to be 7 years, because stage B is going to get over at the end of 7 years. So this is raised to 7. Okay, so if you solve this, you will get this answer. It is just a substitution, and that is the end of it. Yeah. Last part would be you have to just add everything, then you'll get your answer. Yeah. So I'll just put this in front of you. Go through it. I think I have less than a minute. Yeah, I have less than a minute. I'll just stop here because I have to just take the attendance. Please come in the video mode, every one of you.